Recently, I read The Diary of a Young Girl Anne Frank. Although it takes me max 2 to 3 weeks to complete a book, but this book took me 2 months. Not because I was too busy on this book, or this book is too long, or I was procrastinating it. It's because it's not just a book, it's a hurricane of emotions. There's a lot more in this book to which my mind took time to process. I must say, my mental health was affected by this book. This book is written so well that you start feeling what Anne Frank is feeling. It's not just a historical record, it's a window into the soul of a young girl living through one of the darkest periods in human history. When I first picked up Anne's diary, I expected to be moved emotionally, to sympathize with her plight and feel the weight. And of course, I did. The diary filled with heart-wrenching moments, and Anne's words are a powerful reminder of horrors of war and discrimination. Here was a young girl confined in a small space for years, facing unimaginable danger, and yet she found the strength not only to endure but to dream and to hope. If I were at her position, I would have got panic attack at the idea of living inside of four walls for years without knowing when you will get out of it. I mean, I can't spend whole day in my room. I feel like my room is eating me up, so I daily get out of my room for a walk, for buying groceries. So my mind is decluttered and I feel free. I feel independent. And his diary also made me more aware of the enduring presence of discrimination and prejudice in our world. It forced me to confront uncomfortable truths about the society we live in and my role in it. A message of tolerance and the belief that people are inherently good at heart challenged me to be more compassionate and understanding. So when I say that the diary of Anne Frank impacted me not just emotionally but mentally as well, it's because it sparked transformation within me. It made me realize that even in the pages of history, there are lessons that can shape our present and our future. I believe that Anne Frank's diary has the power to do the same for anyone who reads with an open heart and mind. So grab a cozy sport because we are about to discuss the powerful message of Anne Frank's diary and why it's still so relevant to our generation.
Do you know who Anne Frank was?
Who?
Anne Frank?
She's an actress, right?
The girl that had the diary she wrote, her and her family had to hide out in the attic of her house during the, what was that, World War II?
Before we jump into the message, let's have a quick overview of the book itself. The Diary of Anne Frank is first-person account of Annie's life in hiding during World War II. Anne Frank received her diary, which she affectionately named Kitty, on her 13th birthday. Little did she know that this diary would become her confidant, her closest friend, and a symbol of hope for generations to come. Annex, where Annie and her family took refuge, was a secret annex concealed behind a bookcase in her father's office built. For over 2 years, Anne Frank, her family, and 4 others lived in cramped quarters, always living in fear of discovery by the Nazis. In the diary, Annie shared her dreams, her fears, her observation about the people around her, and her profound reflection on human nature. It's a vivid account of a young girl coming of age against the backdrop of an unimaginable danger. Sadly, Anne's story doesn't have a happy ending. She, along with her family and friends in hiding, were eventually betrayed and arrested. Anne died in the Bergen-Belsen concentration camp at the age of 15. Her father, Otto Frank, was the only survivor from the annex and later published her diary, fulfilling Anne's dream of becoming a writer. The Diary of Anne Frank has since become one of the most widely read and studied books in the world. Imagine being confined to a small annex, unable to go outside, always living in the dread of Nazi raids. I'm sure thoughts of it is giving you stress. What Anne teaches us about hope is not just wishful thinking, it's a deep, unwavering belief that even in the darkest of times, there's a spark of light. She wrote,
"It's really a wonder that I haven't dropped all my ideals, because they seem so absurd and impossible to carry out. Yet I keep them, because in spite of everything, I still believe that people are really good at heart."
Anne's hope was not naive, it was a resilient hope. Although she didn't know when the war will be over, but she had a dream of becoming a writer and a journalist when it would. Do you know how she lived all those years in the annex? Why she didn't give up like others? Because she had hope. Hope that things will work out. Hope that war will end. Hope that other people will accept them. The world will accept them. I'm sure there are days when you feel low in life, like you want to give up. Maybe you are following your passion or are creating something that will benefit others and you too. Or lately, life hasn't been as you wanted it to be. It's messed up, the things aren't working out, you want something but you aren't getting what you want, or you are fulfilling the vow you made to yourself, your mother, your father, your family of making them proud, making yourself proud one day. Or maybe you are fighting the secret fight for your dreams about which nobody knows other than you. Whatever it is, have hope. Have hope that things will work out, that you will make it no matter what. This hope will serve as your motivation in those hard times. Mark Manson, the author of Everything is Fucked, also wrote that hope is having a tangible vision of the future that is worth living for. I mean, look at the most successful people in the world. They do things because they have hope. Take the example of Elon Musk. He made 2 to 3 rockets and he was hoping that his next rocket should blast like the previous one. He hoped that his launch would be successful, which gave him power to take action and invest all his money, and he fulfilled his dreams. For example, suppose you got stuck in an elevator. You have 2 options. You could shout your lungs out. If you're getting late, you will be frustrated. You could be angry and get crazy inside. Or you could remain calm and have hope that someone will rescue you. Have hope that you will get out safe from here and you will reach your destination on time. The thing is that the harder the times are, the higher the hopes are of people. Who has hope can even survive the death camps because they know maybe right now they're facing difficult times. They're facing darkness, but a moment will come which will delete all of their difficulties and shine like a star.
While there is life, there is hope.
Family bonds are a central theme in the Diary of Edith. In the book, Eddie, her sister Margot, and their parents Otto and Edith Frank experienced the profound impact of family unity during their time in hiding. One poignant example is where Anne describes her relationship with her father, Otto Frank. He was not only a loving father, but also a source of wisdom for her. Anne often confided in him through her diary, and his support and understanding provided her with a sense of comfort and security in the confined space, whereas Anne's relationship with her mother, Anne Frank, was more complex and strained compared to her relationship with her father. Anne often wrote her in diary about the difficulties in her relationship with her mother. You might be taken aback in her sometimes hard condemnation of her mother in comparison to her fondness for her father. She felt like that her mother was overly critical and didn't understand her. But keep in mind that Anne was a teenager at that time, and like many adolescents, she had moments of tension with her parents. There were instances in the book where she asked her mother for taking stand for her against Mrs. Van Daan and Mr. Dussel, but she refused, which meant more anger of her, and the hate was developed in her heart against her mother. Her complex relationship with her mother reminds us that families aren't always perfect, and conflicts can arise, but understanding can help mend those bonds. However, it's important to note that as Annie's diary progresses, her understanding of her mother deepens. She starts to recognize her mother's struggles and the pressure she was under, particularly in the confined space of the hiding place. Annie's feeling toward her mother become more empathetic. She expresses regret for not appreciating her mother's love and care more. This reminds me of a chapter in my English book named We Are Not Afraid to Die If We All Can Be Together, which is a gripping memoir by Gordon Cook and Ellen Eve. The book chronicles their family's remarkable journey around the world on a small sailing yacht named Wave Walker. Throughout the voyage, the family confronts storms, equipment failures, water filled up in the ship, and even a pirate attack. The title encapsulates the essence of the journey, unwavering determination to stay together as a family, no matter the danger they encounter. This is what having a family bond is. Family is not just a word, it's a feeling that makes you experience the whole emotion. It's hope. If you have a bad day, then all you need is your family to boost your mood. Family is both that if it didn't work out, you will figure it out. Family is strength that if whole world is against you, if you have your family by your side, you will definitely fight. No matter you win, lose, but you will be together. Having family bond means having emotional support, to be there for someone when they need it the most. It's the kind of support that doesn't necessarily involve fixing a problem, but rather offering comfort, understanding, and a listening ear. It's about having open communication. It means you can discuss anything, share your thoughts and concerns, and truly listen to each other. I'm not saying that there wouldn't be any arguments. There will be arguments because it's a part of discussion. I know there are times when you may have problems with your parents due to different ideologies, due to your desire of independence. Or like me, you may have different expectations related to career that judge your parents or whatever it is. I know they can be so hard to understand. They can be the reason of your frustration, anger, and stress. There was not a single day when my mother wouldn't tell me to choose a safe government job, study for it, work hard for it, but I had different plans. So this led to an argument for my sister to be the spectator. And later on, when I would reflect on it, I would feel guilt to say harsh words to mother, to fight with her, to get angry on her, instead of keeping quiet, listening to her. But then I would repeat it all again. It's not us who are living the life first time, it's your parents too. If you can make mistakes in your life, your parents can too. As you don't have any experience on how to react or behave, they too are without toolbook or prior experience. They are too trying to figure things out. Understand that they are not perfect, just like we aren't. You know that we don't value things when we have them, but when they are separated from you, you start feeling the value of it. I want to quote down a few lines from the book which will justify this segment. Dead people receive more flowers than the living ones, because regret is stronger than gratitude. It is commentary on the fact that we sometimes take the living people in our lives for granted, like they will be there forever. Like for me, I would take my mother for granted that she will cook for me, do my little chores for me. But as once she went to her mother's house for 1 month, I felt her value. That how every morning, without complaint, she would make breakfast for the whole family. Whereas I was frustrated at the midway of the month and couldn't take it anymore as the month was ending. I know you may feel like that. Once that people are gone, you will be free, never want to meet them again. But things doesn't go that way. Only when they are gone and we can no longer express our gratitude or make amends do we realize the depth of our feelings and wish we had showed more appreciation. Consider yourself lucky if you're someone you can call your family, because it can be someone else any day. This made me emotional. Where's my family? I'm going to meet my family.
Money will come and go. We know that. The most important thing in life will always be the people in this room. Right here. Right now.
Who could tell you of self-expression more than the OG Anne Frank? One of the reasons she wrote the book was she wanted to express her emotions and her feelings. It provided her with a private space where she could share her thoughts, feelings, and experience without fear of judgment. It was as if she had a direct line from her heart and mind to the pages of her diary. Think of it this way. When you read her diary, it's like having a one-on-one conversation with her. Whether it was the excitement about something like end of the war, about spending time with Peter, or whether she was frustrated with the people she was sharing hideout with, or the deep concern about the war and the fate of Jewish people. What's truly to notice is how she could describe even the most complex and abstract feelings. You could feel her fear, her hope, her despair, streams through her words. So here's the thing, you need to be good at expressing yourself. If you can't express yourself, then who will? Hey, I'm not talking about giving your introduction like you used to do in your school time. No, it's more than that. It's going out there and putting who you are in front of others unfiltered. Like if there's a group discussion within your friends, you should say what you want to say, not what your friends want to listen. You need to express what is in you. You have to put it out. I know there are different feelings which we can't name. There are emotions, but you hold them up because you have no one to listen. There's a line in Diary of Anne Frank that because paper has more patience than people. I know there are some things and feelings which you can't explain to anyone. Maybe it's related to you or current life situation or something which is only and only your business to deal with. So what you do, you hold those feelings, those emotions, and let them disturb you. When Anne wrote the quote, she meant that paper doesn't get tired or impatient and it won't judge you. So here's what I want you to do. Keep a notebook or journal or diary or whatever the fuck sounds to you. And you need to write it in it about whatever you want, like about your day, or your fight with your friend, or your breakup, or the things you're grateful for, or about your family, or about yourself, or about your dreams, or about that 0.5 seconds of eye contact with your crush, or anything that seems aesthetic to you. Like once I wrote about my WWE card collection. Yes, it's up to you if you want to write it daily or like whenever you feel like you want to write it. I usually write it whenever I feel like. You can pour out your heart and soul into the pages, and you will simply listen, never interrupt or grow weary. Like people who might not always have the time or patience to hear your thoughts or feelings. A piece of shit is always there to provide comfort and understanding. It's like your secret hideout or like safe space to express yourself without fear of being criticized or dismissed, or yes, judged. So there are some things you need to remember when writing on the piece of shit. Write like as you are updating a friend who lives a long distance away from you, and you have to tell them how your life's going or what you are doing currently, how the life has been lately. Don't feel any pressure like
What is the format of it? Should I write by your diary or first or debut?
just write the fuck out. If you can't write, then just scribble, just draw something. It doesn't matter. What matters is your intuition behind it, how you see it. And yes, most important, don't think that you need to write good things, or you need to maintain the words, or you shouldn't have mistakes, or it should be perfect, it shouldn't be messy. It's your way of expressing yourself. Then how the hell it be positive? It's necessary that there are some flaws in it. It should be messy, because in real life, emotions are messy. If you run behind perfection, then you can't write anything. Your story is full of up and down. It's horrible. You can say it's a horror survival genre story. Be honest like Annie. She was brutally honest about her own flaws and the imperfections of the people she was living with. Reading her diary, you can't help but be inspired by her unyielding hope. So whatever you name it, Dear Kitty or Dear Rock, that one, just write it. Who knows, one day your diary too can create history like the diary and a friend. And someone like me would take out lessons from it and tell people like how great that person was. Before you leave this video, I would love to hear from you. What lessons have you personally taken away from Annie's diary? And if you haven't read it, this is the sign that you should. And yes, yours ever.